Okay, welcome back, and time to talk to Stefan Verstappen, who's with us a couple times a month to try to help those who still care about preparing to do just that. And every day could be the last chance. Yesterday is a gift, and if you look back on it, today you had a chance. Tomorrow, most of you will have a chance. You've got to start. You've got to start. You just have to, or just give it up. Don't even pretend like you're going to start. Stefan, hello, welcome back.
Hi, Jeff. It seems like it was only just the other day that we were talking.
Well, it was, I think, 3 or 4 days ago. So,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
we're gonna have to stop meeting like this. People are tired talking.
Ah, all right. Now, seriously, we still, for some unbelievable reason, we still are blessed with enough time to do some substantial and meaningful things in terms of preparing.
Yes.
Still there,
Yeah.
still time.
No, I can't believe it either. There's still time, and people better get take advantage of this time. Because when it hits,
Yeah.
it will hit you, and then there's nothing you can do. What I mean to say is that, for example, even just a power outage, right? Now, everybody's going to run to the store to get supplies, but the stores will be closed. I've been through this. I've been through the power outages here. And the stores closed down because they can't process payments. So they're not going to, plus their freezers stopped working. Well, they got the backup generators, but the backup generators, if they work, everybody's got backup generators in their condos, but good luck when the power goes out that they work. And even if they do work, they've only got like a day's worth of fuel, and then you're out. So then all this food starts to rot. They can't process the payments. They can't turn on the lights. They can't open the doors because the doors are automatic on an electronic system. So, guess what? You can't get food. And you'll find that everywhere. No food, no gas. Your heater won't work. Okay, so you get through it the first day. That's not a problem. But if this goes on for a week, how many people have a week's worth of food in their pantry? I'm surprised that so many people don't. We've gotten used to this delivery on time kind of paradigm, or just in time
Well,
delivery.
it's called just in time. Yeah, exactly. Just in time.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Just in time shopping, just in time everything.
yeah,
We're a nation of utter convenience. Reach out, grab it, consume it, reach out, grab it, consume it. I'm speaking figuratively, but that's the game.
yeah. And so, well, that's fine so long as the entire infrastructure is running perfectly. But one little hiccup, and now just in time means you got nothing. So yeah, take advantage, folks. This is the time when you can still get prepped, and we're going to talk about prepping tonight because last time I was on, I got all sidetracked with my story about war with China, but I believe this is a very serious possibility, a Red Dawn scenario. Because
Right.
I think they're going to the vaccine isn't going too well for them. People are really starting to figure it out. We've seen all these videos of all these people that are horribly crippled and suffering after getting a vaccine, never mind the ones that have died. And so it's not going well for them. But remember, the New World Order, they have plans within plans within plans. And which is what I tell my survival consultees, the same thing. You need plan A, plan B, plan C. Um, this is what Stoics do. This is what Stoicism is about. It's called negative imagination. You think of everything that can go wrong, and then you make a plan of what you would do to survive it, to overcome it, to mitigate it. And once you've made all these plans, you just relax now because you're prepared. You're mentally prepared. The mental preparedness really helps a lot during a crisis. Often, what happens in a crisis is people lose it. They go into a form of shock, and we talked about this when I was in working for the ambulance service, St. John Ambulance, And we have what we call a brigade surgeon come in and give extra lessons. And he told us about people when they go into shock after a sudden event. And that sudden event could be like a car accident, but it could also be a witnessing a car accident. So you're not hurt, but the shock of witnessing a car accident um, can throw you into a state of shock, which is something that's very unusual. I've heard dozens of stories when I was in the service there about ambulance first responders coming upon an accident scene, and they'll find some guy 2 miles away wandering down the street who was in the accident, and he's saying, I'm late for my daughter's birthday. It's not his daughter's birthday, and he's not late, and he doesn't know where he is. But this is what shock can do. It's like it puts people into like a psychotic state of mind. And so as a first responder, you're taught to find out everybody that was involved in the accident because they might not be present. They may have gone into shock and wandered off. Now, what we're seeing now with this new world order is doing the same thing to people, Jeff. I can't think of any other way to explain it. People are in a slight state of shock, which means it affects your mentality. You cannot think clearly when you're in shock. And it could be anything. You think that or they'll take off their clothes and wander through people's backyards. I mean, that's how weird it gets. Now, when they shut off the lights and they pull out their false flag or whatever the next stage that these sons of bitches have, a lot of people will go into shock. And that's why to avoid going into shock is you mentally prepare for it. And then when bad things happen, it's not a shock to you. You've already anticipated it. You've already made plans. You already know how to handle this situation. And now what you need to do now is back up mental preparation with the physical preparation. Food, water, firearms. And tonight we're going to talk about a medical bag.
Okay, very good. Yeah, it's a simple thing when you stop to ponder it. Band-aids, hydrogen peroxide, but you need a lot more than that. If you're really going to have some kind of a significant medical response that you can bring into play if you need to, it's more than Band-aids and hydrogen peroxide. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and anybody listening, get a pencil and paper because you're going to want to write some of these things down. When I do my consultations, I always tell them, get out your pen and paper because I'm going to tell you the things you're going to need to, or even better yet, you can always go onto the Jeff Rentz website and play this podcast back, right? So even if you forget to take notes, you can always listen to this again.
Well, and not everyone, but if you are a subscriber, you certainly can. We have 28 years of programs waiting for you to browse the library. So they're all in there.
Yeah, so that's a good reason to subscribe because I'm going to run through a lot of things tonight. And if you forget something, play it back. And then, with a pen and paper. So, shall we get started, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
So now, personally, I have 4 first aid kits. The first one is a mini micro first aid kit. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and that's part of my Altoids tin survival kit. So it's the size of a pack of cigarettes. You keep it in your shirt pocket, you keep it in your backpack, you keep it in the glove compartment of your car, and it's a mini survival kit. It has all the key components that we have in a bug-out bag, right? Except it's just minimal. So I have a micro first aid kit in the survival kit, and it's just a couple of Band-Aids, some alcohol wipes, in the little packets, 2 Tylenol, 2 ibuprofen, and some antibiotic cream in the little packets. So, listen, to be honest with you, I've used that kit more often than I've used my other kits because I carry that with me everywhere I go, and especially when I go mountain biking. My other first aid,
Right?
my other first aid kit is in the car. So we talked about the car kit before, things that you should have in the car: an extra blanket, some candles, some extra oil,
Sure.
antifreeze, and of course a first aid kit. And that first aid kit has
And don't forget the matches. What do you recommend for matches? Ohio blue tips, little flick lighters, things that you, if you're a smoker, what do
big
you got to have a match.
big lighters,
What do you recommend?
big lighters. Yeah,
Big lighters.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're great. They get wet, they won't work, but just keep them dry. But even if you get them wet, you can dry them off. But how many lights can you get out of a big lighter? When I was doing wilderness guiding work, I had
Sure.
the waterproof matches, and then you had those special waterproof match containers. It was like a steel cylinder with a rubber seal on it, and you could screw it in really tight. But yeah, you can fit 20 matches in there. But a big lighter gives you like 500 lights. So no, big lighter.
So the next time I walk by a little box full of Bic lighters, I should grab half a dozen. Okay.
No, grab the whole box, Jeff. Grab the whole box.
Okay.
Okay, and
Because you could barter with those, couldn't you?
exactly. There is a guy that lived in Herzegovina, and he was there when Bosnia was in its civil war period, and the whole city was shut down for a year, and and it was brutal what happened. He said that first of all, he said, for the first couple of days, everybody's in shock. Hello, just what I said. They're in shock. He says, but after the third day, anybody that didn't own a firearm was robbed of everything they had. And he said after a few weeks, the things that you couldn't get anything. You couldn't get food or ammunition unless you bartered, and that the bartering items, the most popular bartering items was alcohol, and we've talked about this before, Jeff. I recommend, never mind investing in silver and gold, invest in bottles of vodka. You can move it faster and it'll retain its value.
Oh, interesting. Sure.
Yeah, well, actually, the value will go through the roof. Now you can buy. I'm buying Mickey's here, which is a 12-ounce bottle, $15 Canadian. But if we face the collapse and the stores close down, and everybody's gone into shock, what do you think I could sell that 12-ounce bottle for? And when everybody's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
jonesing for a drink, and even if you're not an alcoholic, during these stressful times, I'm telling you, you know, go go through a car accident, and then as soon as you get home and everybody's okay, what's the first thing everybody says? Let's have a shot. to,
Hmm.
to calm the nerves. People are going to want it. So I'm telling you, and I'm telling the listeners, if you want to, invest your money in something that will come in very handy, bottles of alcohol and cartons of cigarettes. I just bought 25 cartons of cigarettes the other day. So I'm set to go. I got, 25 bottles of vodka, 25 cartons of cigarettes. I can bribe my way around the country with that.
Well, you went through one carton today, so you're down to 24.
Well, yes, carton a day. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And that,
Where do you have? How much do 25 cartons of cigarettes cost now?
well, if I bought it legally, it would be
Was $100 a carton?
$140 a carton here, almost 150. So you're looking at yeah,
Wow.
$3,500 worth. But I don't buy
Wow.
my cigarettes legally.
All right. A lot of our dear friends listening don't have that kind of money to lay out for that kind of equipment, we'll call it. So what do they do? What do we do?
Well,
And
I didn't lay
if I,
out that kind of money. You know what it cost me? $275.
Yeah, but you know all those Italian-speaking guys. I know. I know.
Well, folks, and again, in my talks on urban guerrilla tactics, I tell people, and it's in the book too. It's in my book, The Art of Urban Survival. That when things get this bad, you will have to make friends with the black market. When the stores shut down and the supply chains are cut off, and you can't go anywhere to get anything. You can't get medicine, you can't get booze, you can't get cigarettes, you can't get groceries. Well, where are you going to go? Well, there's a black market. I tell people right now, get to know your local drug dealer, because when the poop hits the fan, they are the ones that will form the black market. Now, if your child is sick with bronchial pneumonia, and you need antibiotics to save his or her life, and of course the hospital is closed. As a matter of fact, even if it was open, avoid the hospital; they'll kill you there. But where are you going to get the antibiotics from? Your doctor's going to write you a prescription. The pharmacy is closed. You got to make connections with the underworld, Jeff. I don't know, like not all criminals are really bad. If you got friends in the Hell's Angels or in the mafia, yeah, talk to them. Because they're the ones that will be able to get those antibiotics that will save your child's life. That's why I say this. And I say this because I know from experience. My family was in Holland during the Second World War, and we talked about this a little bit too. And the reason that they didn't starve to death was because they had connections with the black market. So, anyways, this guy in Herzegovina, he said the third most popular item is Bic lighters. He said they traded those like crazy. He said you could buy, if you wanted
All
food,
right.
you could trade with Bic lighters.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. I'll be on the lookout tomorrow. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll get some.
Well, listen, booze, cigarettes, Bic lighters, and ammunition. Those were the things that he said everybody was always wanting, and that's the only
Yeah,
barter items. Yeah.
that's amazing when you think I don't smoke, I don't drink. The ammunition is a given,
Yeah.
but seriously, that many people, I guess people are going to start smoking if they don't smoke, or
Yes.
start drinking if they don't drink because of this the massive stress
Yeah.
that appears to be just around the corner.
Well, did I tell you about
I
my
understand.
my airplane flight from Beijing to Shanghai? Did I tell you that story?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And
Tell
it's,
us again if you want. That's a good one.
well, it was a flight from Beijing to Shanghai. I'm with 8 other people, venture capitalists, and my other fellow office workers, and we hit turbulence like I have never seen or experienced. It was horrific. The plane shook, it flew up and down, it dropped. This went on for an hour. I was terrified. We all thought we were going to die. Now we finally land. We get out into the airport. Now I'm the only smoker of the whole bunch, and the first thing everybody asks me, "Have you got a smoke?" Even they never smoked before.
Ah,
But I'm saying this is part of. And then of course we all headed for the bar for a drink. That's why I'm saying smokes and vodka, especially during times of crisis. If you come close to death, and when you think that you're really going to die, then it's like I don't give a damn anymore about my health. Give me a cigarette and give me a tumbler full of whiskey. That's what I want at this point. And people will pay a lot of money for that if they can't get it. So, like I don't know what silver is going to go up to. Maybe they keep saying 5,000 an ounce. I kind of doubt that, but who knows? But what do you if silver is 5,000 an ounce, what do you think a bottle of Jack Daniels is going to go for? For people that want it, they'll pay it. And
what do you think? Seriously, all right, let's have fun with this for a sec. What do you think people would pay for a bottle of Jack Daniels
$2,000.
in bad times?
2,000
How
bucks.
much?
2 grand.
Two?
Yeah.
And they'd pay for it with gold or silver? What would they
Yeah.
pay for it with?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They'll trade in their silver for it. Their gold and silver.
So
Look.
I need a case of Jack Daniels,
Yes, Jeff.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, you
How
know,
many bottles in a case? 12?
I don't know. I don't know. Now, what I do is I get the small bottles. Here they call them Mickeys. It's a 12-ounce bottle, and it's not round. It's like flat, like a
Hmm.
flask. And the reason I get the flask Mickeys is because you can carry them in your pockets and people won't see it so easily. You put a 26-ounce round bottle, big bottle in your pocket, and everybody will see there's a big bulge there. But I can carry 4 or 5 of these Mickeys in my pockets and nobody will ever see it. And also because it's smaller, you can bargain for smaller items. Because let's say you just want a new pair of socks or no, you want a few cans of food. Are you going to give the guy a whole 26er of vodka for a can of peas? Yeah, that's a little bit pricey. And what's he going to do? Give you change? Pour half the bottle into a cup for you or something? So I like smaller denominations because it gives you more flexibility. I do the same thing. I have 1 ounce silver, but when I buy gold, I buy 5 gram bars, very small. So I wouldn't buy an ounce of gold. Who's going to give you change for an ounce of gold?
Well, I asked that several times recently. In fact, I just asked it tonight again. How do people make change in a barter world that is propelled by gold and silver? That's a tricky one.
Well, and the other thing is how do people, when you're selling it, the buyer must have testing equipment, right? Because there's a lot of fake
I
bar.
don't know.
Yeah, well, you'd have
Yes,
to. Yeah.
gold sprayed titanium or titanium that's got a little thin coating of gold on it. There'll be a lot of that out there.
Oh, there'll be tons out of there, especially at Fort Knox. Tons of it there.
There's nothing in Fort Knox.
Yeah, except they showed him some titanium bars with a little bit of gold paint on it. So how do people? Well,
Uh,
this is what I'm saying, Jeff. The convenience of things. So I'm going to bring my gold to the black market. Does this guy have a testing machine? Is he able to determine that my silver, if I go to the farmer and I want to give him some money so I can get some milk and eggs and maybe a chicken or something, is he going to know that I'm giving him a gold ounce? Can he test it? Does he know what it's worth? Is he going to give me
nope.
change? No, of course not. So, yes, gold and silver is a good investment, but when it's really, street guerrilla warfare, and you just need to get, antibiotics and, a few more shotgun shells. And what are you going to walk around with gold in your pocket? Well, this guy in Herzegovina said if you try anything like that, you're going to get robbed the minute you step out your door because the gangs will be waiting for you. They know that the last time you went to buy something, you paid for gold. So you can't show your face in the city anymore. That's what he said. So it's really risky running around with gold and silver. Plus, it's going to be hard to move it. And how are you going to get change for it? But a couple of bottles of vodka stuck on your coat. Nobody can see what you got. A carton of cigarettes. I'm telling you, that will buy you whatever you want. Trust me.
I do trust you. Okay. Except for the chicken part. Um, I'm just not into eating live animals or dead animals.
I know. I'm
Okay,
sorry. I'm sorry, Jeff. You're a vegetarian. I keep rubbing it in your face.
that's all right. Okay, hold on a minute. We're time for a break here, so let's do that, and we'll come right back with Stefan and more in just a minute. Okay, and I think when you've got to really consider this. I don't know if people who would want to trade you for a bottle of Jack Daniels would actually trade you for it or just shoot you and take it. That's another problem with this barter system. So you kind of want to get to know your neighbors and get like Madeline was talking about, getting a community of like-minded people together, right? A community of like-minded people together who can run their own little, underground black market operation, whatever, just to survive. We're talking about survival here.
Yeah.
And then you've got the inner city gangs who are going to come out to the smaller communities and start killing people. And they're going to have to be taken out
Hmm.
before they can go in and just do unbelievable amounts of damage. It's just got to happen. So people need to be prepared all the way around, all the way.
Well, next time let's talk about communities then, because I'm almost my online course, The Complete Guide to Forming Communities, will be going active next week. My book should be out in 2 weeks, and I talk about that in the book, all including. Did we talk about neighborhood defense units?
No,
No.
not to any great degree.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that next time then. How to form a community, and also how to start to organize your neighborhood as a neighborhood defense community or group. Start off, I tell people, start off by joining the neighborhood watch. And if you don't have a neighborhood watch, then form one. Because, as I mentioned before somewhere, Sun Tzu says, you put your men in a perilous situation and they will fight to the death. So, okay, fine. We start off with a neighborhood watch, and we don't tell them that we're worried about the end of the world and about street gangs coming up. And you don't tell them that because it's going to scare everybody. And they'll think you're a kook. And then when it happens, guess what? They'll pull together. So you start off with a neighborhood watch, get everybody a radio and a jacket and a horn and a
Right?
firearm. And then when they come up the road, trust me, they'll all come together.
Well, I
Yeah.
hope so. All
Well,
right.
well, when
Okay.
you
So
have a common
let's go.
enemy,
Let's
right?
go. Go ahead.
Well, a common enemy will unite you. So the common enemy would be, inner city street gangs raping, robbing, and murdering your neighbors. Well, how long is that going to go on?
Or the People's Liberation Army marching through Canada.
Yeah, on their way to California.
Well, they
But
probably start in California.
yeah,
Easier
probably.
pickings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go into the medical kit. So I've got first aid kits in the car, micro kit. I got a slightly better first aid kit in my bug out bag. Just
Right.
more band-aids, bigger band-aids, more gauze, more. I've got a bottle of hydrogen peroxide in my bug out bag, first aid kit. But now, what I want to talk about is a medical kit, not a first aid kit, a medical kit, and this is going to be based on a worst case scenario. When I do my preps, I always think, again, referencing back to the Stoics, what can go wrong? And I always imagine the worst thing that can go wrong, and I prepare for it. And once you prepare for it, then it doesn't frighten you. This is the point of being mentally prepared, but now we're going to get physically prepared. So I always think of worst case scenario. So now lights go out, hospitals are closed. You're not going to go to a hospital anyways. Medical clinics are closed. Your doctor's unavailable. You can't get them on the cell phone because there's no cell phone service. Look what's happening there in Australia where they're blacking people out. Right? They don't want them talking to each other, so they jam your cell phone, or the whole system just crashes. You have no access to a doctor or an ambulance or a paramedic or a nurse or a pharmacy, and you're injured and or sick. You are screwed. If you get sick or injured during a survival situation, your chances of not making it go through the roof. This is, the same. We see the same thing in the animal kingdom with the predators. A tiger will attack an animal until the animal puts up enough of a fight, and then the tiger will back down because the tiger knows if he gets injured in any way, just a scratch or a sprained paw, then he can't hunt. He'll get infected and he'll die. Same thing for humanity. If you get sick or you're injured and you can't get help, this is a deadly situation. So your medical kit has to include things that you would need if proper medical care is not available. So let's start at the most important. For anybody that has to take regular medications, such as heart medication or for diabetes, and even people that have asthma and you need the inhalers. So if you require medication, yeah, and also if you're allergic to certain foods or bee stings and things like that, then you need to stock up on that medication. You need to have, listen, we're talking 6 months to a year worth of food. I'm thinking at least 3 to 6 months worth of your medication. You need to stockpile that, and that goes into your medical kit. That's part of your medical supplies. All the medication
Right.
you might need. Now, I know this is a little bit tricky. Depends on where you live and what your doctor's like. Because I've talked to people about this, and those that need medication often can't get a prescription for like a 3 months supply, right? So try and get it legally. There might be ways of getting it illegally. One clue is farm and feed stores. You'll be surprised the kind of medication you can get there. It's for horses and cattle. Doesn't matter.
Of
It'll
course.
it'll work.
And bring a picture of you and your horse in there to prove it.
Yeah,
They're asking for that in some tax stores now.
really? Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Well, you know why? Because all the preppers are going to the feed and
I
farm
know.
stores and getting stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why. Because it works on humans. It's fine. You know what's
It
ivermectin?
was, well, ivermectin was first approved for humans.
Yeah,
They've never had a negative response from it. It's
yeah. So go to the
anyway.
feed store. Tell them your horse needs it.
Hey, you want to hear? Here, you want to hear something? You want to hear something?
Yeah, sure.
Many hospitals now, I can't tell you how many, but many hospitals are actually treating the vaxxed sick people with ivermectin.
Mm-hmm.
The unvaxxed are getting remdesivir, which will kill them.
Ha ha ha. Yeah,
Think about it.
yeah, yeah,
And they can blame the unvaxxed. Well, you died of COVID. It was your fault. Never mind, we gave you remdesivir and killed you. Never mind that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's frightening. And that is why you need everybody listening. You got to put together a medical kit. So if you require medication, get stockpiled. Now, if you can't get extra prescriptions, then I'm sorry, but you're going to have to be really self disciplined. And if you're prescribed and you need to take, say, 4 pills a day, take 3 pills a day and save one. Starting
Right.
today. Starting today. And then, after a few weeks or so, you start to build up your stockpile. If if you're diabetic and you need medication for your diabetes, and again, if they prescribe you
Hmm.
3 a day, take 2 a day, put one away, and stockpile it. And then, well, listen, you're just going to have to exercise more and cut down on the sugar. And
We can't give medical advice here. These are just suggestions based
right,
on
right,
Stefan's personal feelings. That's all.
yeah. Well, do whatever rigorous physical and dietary discipline that you need to do that would help to control it, so that you can get by with only 2 instead of 3. Right? So you might go through a little bit of discomfort, but you need it, because if you're cut off and you can't get it anymore, then you go from your regular dosage to 0. That will really impact you and may very well kill you. So a little bit of discomfort now. I don't know. I don't take medication, but um, that's one way to stockpile it. The other thing you should get is antibiotics. Um, you can get antibiotics. I bought them online from a fish store. It's fish antibiotics. I bought 200 capsules, 500 milligrams of amoxicillin. That's like 10 weeks worth of treatment,
Got it. Got it.
right?
Yeah.
And I got it
Hmm.
for like
Oh,
$65.
10% of a 10%, 15% of the normal cost, I'll bet. It's cheap.
Yes, $65 for 100 pills. $65 for 100 capsules. Now I have
Well, it's not then 10%. But it is cheaper. All right.
way cheaper, way cheaper. Yeah, ordered online. Now it's illegal for me in Canada to order
Uh-huh.
fish antibiotics online, but I did so anyways, and it did come in. I guess the postal customs office didn't know the rule probably.
No, they just couldn't spell your last name correctly.
That's it. Nobody can. But I got them, so and I keep them in a cool, dark place, and they're good for years. And I've already used these a couple of times. I had like a pocket gum infection that you get that fasciitis. Your whole face swells out, right? And I tried the.
Thieves oil. Thieves oil.
I've tried all the alternatives, Jeff. I tried them all.
Have you tried thieves oil?
No.
There you go. Thieves oil. It works every time on an infected tooth.
Oh yeah.
Every time. They take a Q-tip, dab it around the side of your gums, all around the tooth. If there's a crack in the top of your tooth, dab some in there and give it a day or two and see what happens. I'm just telling you from personal experience, this is an essential oil called Thieves, and it's what the roving bands of looters, gypsies primarily, during the Spanish flu used to keep themselves from getting the flu
Wow.
or whatever it was. We think it was a bacteria, but they never got sick. And that's where that blend came from. And it works on if Patty Doyle, if she only would have gotten that thieves oil in time, it would have saved her. Uh, you can't mess with infections in teeth. You just
Oh, no,
can't.
I know. I find iodine works really good for the tooth infection too.
Well,
And
just remember that
yeah,
thieves oil, and I don't have any stock in the company, but there's some really good essential oil companies online. Just look up essential oils and take your pick. Get thieves oil.
okay,
One of the
and
things you need to have.
sounds good. And then I would recommend everybody get some thieves oil, and again, put that in your medical kit. And since we're on that subject, you jumped ahead a little bit on me, but let's go there. And another part of your items that you should put in your medical kit is exactly those things like you just mentioned: thieves oil, oil of clove, also okay for teeth.
There's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, iodine.
Tea tree oil is another topical.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
tea. Yeah, and I like the smell of tea tree oil. Uh, um, Grapeseed extract, right? Um,
Yeah.
and also get all your vitamin supplements. You should have like 6 months worth of vitamin supplements in your medical bag, not in the bathroom cabinet, not in the bathroom cabinet. Yeah, keep some of your stuff there, but this is stuff for when it all goes down. So you don't want to start using it up now. So you keep this separate. So 3 to 6 months worth of vitamin, multivitamins, minerals, zinc, calcium, stuff that you normally take, stockpile, and a little bit extra because again, we want to prevent getting sick during a grid down situation. So you're going to have to keep taking your supplements and maybe even taking more of them to prevent yourself from falling sick. Also, essential oils, um, maybe some herbal teas. Those
Hmm.
should all go into your medical kit. Things that keep you healthy should be in there. Also, some items like, in addition to the band aids and that, you need a lot of antiseptic. Get like 2 or 3 bottles of hydrogen peroxide. I have 3 bottles of hydrogen peroxide and 2 bottles of isopropyl alcohol. And the secondary use for that is, as you well know, Jeff,
Yeah.
for
It goes in those wonderful little heaters that should be in every backpack, survival backpack.
you score an A. You are really, you're almost a black belt of survivalist now.
Well,
So yeah,
it's a great little thing, and if you buy a gallon or 4 quarts of it, you got some fuel.
yeah,
It's pretty neat.
and you can even run it on your bootleg vodka.
Mm. You can. That's true.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What about the Jack Daniels?
yeah, Jack Daniels too. Yeah, yeah, 40% alcohol. That's fine. You can run that. We used to have this stuff in China called Gaoliang, and that was 80% alcohol. Oh, 160 proof. Anyways,
No, thanks.
Yeah, I used to run my motorcycle on it. um,
Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah.
um, okay, so bring all that into your medical kit because remember, this is going to be you're going to be at home, no help, no pharmacy. You got to stay healthy. So the stuff that you take now, your vitamins, your supplements, your herbal teas, your essential oils, double up on that and put the other half in your medical kit. Don't touch it. Don't start using it unless you've run out and the world has collapsed. So keep that there. You got your antibiotics there. Now, band-aids and things like that is good, but also get pressure dressings. The band-aids all the stuff that comes with a regular standard, $25, $30 first aid kits that you buy at the drugstore. It's okay. Buy that. It forms a base. You can, but during a real crisis, if you have a serious injury, you need pressure dressings, and these come in rolls. They're about 2 inch wide and about 4 inches long. You crack open the roll, it's wrapped in paper, and it opens up, and it's a 4 by 4 inch pad of gauze and cotton. So it's a big pad, and attached to it is, a 6 feet of gauze bandage, so that you can, you cut your leg open on some broken glass, trying to escape out of a burning building, and now you need 20 stitches, but there's no hospital, there's no, and you're bleeding like a stuck pig, you need to get that pressure dressing out. These are standard issue in the pockets for special forces. When one of the
All right.
pockets will have.
Oh, let me step in here. The site is back up now. I'm not sure if all browsers are able to bring it up, but you'll see. Oh my, the La Palma Cumbre Vieja volcano is absolutely spectacular right now. You can see that. I'm leaving that up at the top of the page.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So thank you all for your patience. Uh, it was a tough day today. We have a new hard drive in the server, and Norberto is working very hard, as did Mark today, to get everything back together. So we're back up. And thank you for your concern and your kind emails. And believe me, it's not something that's fun. Okay, go ahead, Stefan.
So pressure dressings. Let me go quickly then. I go a little bit further. I have 3 surgical kits. I got my doctor friend there in Santa Barbara to get them for me. They're suture kits. They come with scalpel, a hemostat, and a needle and thread, and another hemostat to hold the needle, and get a surgical kit. You can get them on Amazon. They're not great. If you have a friend that can steal one from the hospital, better quality. But if not, you can order them online. The other thing I recommend is for people to get an IV kit. You see, when the
Really?
oh, absolutely, I keep one in my medical bag. This is all part of
Okay.
the medical bag because when all these diseases that tend to kill a lot of people during wartime, like cholera and what was the other one there? That a lot of these diseases, the way they kill you is they dehydrate you. See, because you can't keep anything down. You're
Sure.
constantly
Dysentery.
dysentery. That's the other one, exactly. Now, the reason these diseases kill you is because you become dehydrated, and you are out of electrolytes. Like the movie, it's got electrolytes. Yeah, but you need the electrolytes because if you don't, the I forget exactly what happens. The pH in your blood level drops, and you will literally drop dead from a heart attack. One of my students, when I was teaching kung fu, he nearly dropped dead. He went to this CrossFit, and I warned him. I said, "Don't go to this CrossFit stuff."
Cross training.
Yeah, there was a whole chain of stores
They
there.
used to call it. Oh, he went to a store.
No, he went
There's
to a
something
club.
about cross training too.
Yeah, CrossFit, I think is it, and they just work you like a son of a bitch. But they worked him so hard and he sweat so much. And even though he was drinking water that didn't have electrolytes in it. He started getting dizzy and heart palpitations, and they rushed him to the hospital. So these other kinds of diseases like dysentery, the reason it kills you is because you're dehydrated, and the only way to save you is to put you on an IV. So if you have an IV in your medical kit, you will be able to save a lot of
What do you
lives.
put in the bag? Jack Daniels?
I would,
You got to
but
have saline, clean water.
yes, yeah, get some purified water, boil it, add a teaspoon of salt. There you go. That's
Hmm.
what you, yeah. And you can save a lot of lives. Now, if you don't know how to give an IV, and most people don't, if, you have to be a phlebotomist, I believe is the term. You can also buy the kit on Amazon. It's a teaching kit, and it will show you how to do it. But okay, let's say you don't want to mess with an IV, even though you can buy it on Amazon.
Hmm.
Then your backup, which is not as good but better than nothing, and it's not something I would want to resort to, but an enema bag. You use an enema bag to get the water up there, and it will retain it.
All right.
So,
Well, the absorption factor is is remarkable. The
hmm
colon is called the second lung of the body, so I understood.
okay, so you know what I'm talking about. And again, having these items in your medical kit, like it's not just you can save yourself or your wife or your neighbors or anybody that's come down with some of these diseases. And we know, during wartime and during a collapse or revolution or, the decay of society, these diseases will proliferate. They will spread. They'll become very much more common. Dysentery is the biggest killer during World War I believe it was, and certainly for all the the prisoners in the Japanese prison camps in World War II, it was dysentery. Killed them all. Couldn't keep any liquids in the body, so an enema or an IV bag will save all those lives. That's about it. Get the pressure dressings. I also have burn dressings. They're coated in Vaseline. They're all wrapped in aluminum plastic foil. Because if you have third-degree burns and you put gauze over it, then guess what happens? You try to take that bandage off, and half the person's skin comes with it. So you need like a Vaseline coated burn dressing. I have eye dressings. I've got syringes, but without the needles to irrigate the wound. And I have syringes that have like a 90-degree bend at the tip. And this is really good because you fill it up with hydrogen peroxide. You stick the little tip in there and under there. And you just, you really got to flush it out before you bandage it up. Or otherwise, if you close the skin, and especially if you're going to stitch something, um, you got to really flush it out there because if you enclose any dirt in there, it gets infected and then you're screwed again. But at least you have all that equipment in your medical bag. So that's what I would recommend.
Got it. Okay. Stefan, very good advice, to put it mildly, and
Oh, I
we'll
got
see what happens.
one last thing because prepping
All right.
and getting ready for this, the key is knowledge is power. So if you go to my website, chinastrategies.com, on the front page you'll see something called the Survival Library. It's the best deal on the internet if you're getting ready because it has all of my books, I think 8 or 10 books, in PDF download. But I also include 300 books on all aspects of survival, emergency medicine, emergency shelters, gardening, horticulture, raising chickens and bunnies, and how to build windmills and solar panels, and how to use ham radios, how to hunt, how to snipe, how to use urban guerrilla tactics, all these, military training manuals. It's all in there. 310 books, uh, the Survival Library, and I recommend people save it to a flash drive. And then, if you need that information, you'll have it when the internet is down.
All right. Very good. Stefan, thank you. Talk to you next time in 2 weeks, and keep at it. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Jeff. Good night.
Okay. Good night. All right, we'll be right back in just a few.